Hello, everyone. This is Caesar with VFW 2772 Post, the Battle Rhythm podcast. Today I am joined by a very, very special guest that actually is one of my very close friends. I just wanted you guys to introduce you to him. I've actually have mentioned this person in one of my podcasts before, in the Desert Storm VPR that we had with along with the post adjutant Cindy Unofficer. So I want you guys to meet the one and only Albert Stringfield. How you doing, sir?
Good.
A man of little words. All right, here we go. He's always been like that. All right. So, Stringfield, I told our viewers before that I met you in 2009. That was the very first time I met you, and from that day on, that was probably one of the best times that we've had, because we went to a bunch of different drills and stuff like that. So, share with these guys kind of like how you saw me at that point in time. You're like, oh my god, this dude is like not even cool. Like, what the heck is going on right now? So, how was it the very first time we met?
Right. Well, the very first time that we met, when you came to the unit, of course, we all have to introduce ourselves to everybody. And when I first saw you, I was like, oh, I don't know about this guy here, but like I've said before, we don't pass judgment on a soldier yet until we know what their what performance-wise. If he is a team player, or if he's one of those soldiers who what we call a shamster, and you know what I mean by that.
A skater.
A shamster.
Yeah. Okay.
But as time go on, when I got to know you, I had no issues with you. But a lot of other soldiers, they didn't really care too much about you, and they'll come and tell me about it. But then I was more the neutral type. I didn't take sides because I love everybody. And
I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
But
even
it turns out like
NCOs.
well, I think they're all just haters. It's all good. You know what I mean? I do what I do, and I don't kiss ass. So it just goes how it goes. But anyway, the one reason I wanted to bring you into the podcast is because I had mentioned to the viewers that you were in the original Desert Storm, correct?
Yes.
All right. When did you go in?
I went in like mid '89. Almost 90. So I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. But before that, I wanted combat. So I told my recruiter that I wanted to join combat. So he said, okay, combat arms. So he suggested me to go in as a forward observer, which was a 13 Fox. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So I went through boot camp in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And then, of course, my AIT was still there, too. And after boot camp and I graduated, then you know how everybody goes home for like 2 weeks? Now, this was on the active duty side. And I didn't go home. I went straight to jump school for being in Georgia for 3 weeks. Then I got my orders for Germany. Then when I got to Germany, that's when I found out that my unit was deploying to Iraq. There's a storm. But then it wasn't Desert Storm yet, it was Desert Shield, the air campaign.
Okay, the first one. So
yeah, the first one.
So this is at 89, 90, right? When you first came in?
Yes.
And you were what, like, you were what, 21, 22? How old were you?
Yeah, I was like 23, 24.
You're what? You're 75 right now, right?
No, I'm 56.
I remember when we came in, I was like, man, how old are you, Stringfield? Yeah, I don't know, Sarge, like 45, 46, I don't know. I remember. So, but hey, I want to share something. I'm going to show you the part where I actually talked about you on the podcast. But
okay.
I may have gotten and or exaggerated the parts a little bit because I knew that you had gotten um, the award. I didn't know the details, and I don't care to know the details because that's your thing. That's a very personal thing. But I remember like the biggest part of it. Who gave it to you? So I'm gonna show you this to you because I think it'll prefaces. It'll kind of give us an idea of what we need to do. So give me just 1 second, so I can go ahead and
Okay.
show you. Uh-huh. And we are going to share this real quick. Let me see. Can you see it?
My face is like in the way.
I
Let's
have
see.
yeah, you're fine. The story behind that. So I had a soldier. His name was Albert Stringfield, especially Stringfield. He was a retired CHP, California Highway Patrol. He actually got medically retired because he got hit by a car when he was actually pulled somebody over. He was in a motorcycle. He got hit and he got retired. But he was a specialist, like a lifetime specialist, like E4 Mafia. All right, I'm sorry about that. This guy was in Desert Storm in '91, and he actually got hurt there too. So he was. We started calling him like accident prone Stringfield. This guy, you could never forget his laugh because he was just one of those things. Like he was, once he starts laughing, he was contagious to everybody else. And the more he laughed, the more you laughed because he was laughing, and the more you laughed, he laughed. So it was one of those things. But the one thing that I remember about him is that he actually got awarded the Purple Heart when he got hurt. And guess who gave it to him? General Schwarzkopf.
Oh, wow.
All right. How much of that is true?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So you did get hurt, right? In the CHP, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then when did you get awarded the Purple Heart?
That was.
Do you remember?
Well, I can't even remember when that was.
Well, I mean, it was obviously 91, right?
Yeah, it was in 91.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
So
yeah.
Wait, was it? Were you in recovery when it happened? When General Schwarzkopf came in, or what?
Yes, I was in recovery.
Okay, so how do you remember how that went? Were you coherent enough to remember who he was?
Yeah. Matter of fact, oh yeah, of course I was. 'Cause I was laying on my bed, and when I seen all these officers come in, because they always have and anytime when high-ranking officers come in, generals, there's always other ones with him, other higher rankings too. And when I saw him came in, of course, our courtesy is to stand up at attention.
Right.
But I was so messed up, I couldn't. So he said, "That's okay." Then he told me, he had said he had heard what happened. Then he was there to represent me, the Purple Heart for my actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came right to Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. That's where I was. That's where they made me back into.
Oh, okay. So I just want you to know, like, I know I always gave you a bunch of grief and a bunch of BS and everything, but I generally care about you, and when I heard that story, I was like, man, this dude is my personal hero. Like I just ever since then, like you were so welcoming to me in the unit, and up to now, like I will do anything for you. You're one of the very few people that I put outside of the circle of trust. You're way outside because you never call me anyway. So,
Well, that's good
so I can just go. Well, hey Stringfield, how many we were? The last time I talked to you was December, right? And this past December, when I called you about for Christmas, and I would text you like I would never hear anything from you. And I'm like, what the heck? So it took from December. It was actually about 2 years from the last time we talked. So I always give you shit because you never call.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Again, I meant a few words. So, but so when you saw all these officers and everybody that came into the room, what did you feel? Did you even know that was going to happen? Did you know that it was that something big was going to happen, or were you like not even aware of it.
Actually, I wasn't aware of it. And when I
Okay.
saw all them horses come in, I was like nervous, like, scared. Like, oh, who are they here to see? And I hope they're not here for me because I know I didn't do anything.
Uh-huh.
Because like I said, I was a cherry. I didn't know no better. I was, young, and
Well, your
I wasn't
PFC
a
at that
leader.
point?
Yeah, I was only a PFC. Yeah, I
Okay.
was only a PFC, and
Okay, hold on. So let me break it down for any of our other viewers that are not Army. PFC is an E3, so basically you're private. So okay, go on.
okay, yeah, and private who didn't know that my first wartime experience, and
Hmm.
yeah, I was scared, and then I was always told to follow those who, the older ones. So they're the ones who really took me underneath my wing. But when the general came in, I'm talking about Schwarzkopf, and everybody know who he is. And
Oh
yeah, I was
yeah,
scared. Yeah, I
I
was
mean I knew
scared.
who
I
he
don't
was.
know.
I was
I'm
I was
not,
11 when that was going on. I was like, oh my god, Schwarzkopf, that's a big name.
yeah.
So when how long were you in recovery?
I was in recovery for like what, a month, 2 months, 3.
Hmm. And then you went right back to Desert Storm, or you went back to the States?
No, no, I didn't go back to the States. By that time, the war was over, the ground
Hmm.
campaign. And then it was the last one. I think it was the ceasefire campaign.
Hmm.
And then my unit was getting shipping back, so I went back to Germany, and
Right.
then I went home after that
Right. So
for
altogether, how
leave.
many years did you do in the military? Because you had active duty, then you got out completely and went back into the guard, right?
Right, that was like 10 years later. I
10 year
went
ten
back.
year break.
Yeah, 10-year
So
break.
okay, yeah. So because when you came in, you probably had just gotten back into
Uh
the
huh.
guard because not too long. But I know that you also went to. Did you go back to Iraq a second time
Yeah, I did.
after you went to the guard, right?
Yeah, I did during the
So you went
invasion.
to OIF, right?
Yeah, well, that the first one. OIF during the. I
No,
can't remember which one was the invasion. In 2003 was the invasion too.
right. So is that the one you went
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And then, but you didn't do Afghanistan, right? You just did Iraq.
yeah. Just Iraq.
Dang. So you
Yeah,
so
just
you are
Iraq.
a 2 war veteran, my friend.
Yeah,
You know that. That's a lot.
yeah.
That's a
I
lot of.
guess
That's a
so.
lot of. That's a lot of. Has a lot to say about your character. So, just so you know, I have one of my post members is actually a 3 war veteran. I talk to him. I talk about him often. Mr. Hahn. He is a U.S. Marine. He's 95 years old right now, but he was World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So, um, he's still there. He's actually going to be he's going to be yeah, he's going to be like 96, I think, in a couple of months. So we're probably going to do a
Well,
huge.
there's not that really too many World War II vets around.
No, there are very few and far between now.
Very few.
Yep. So really good. So anyway, but um, when you came back, did you go right back, or were you feeling anything differently when you came back on the first time?
You mean to the unit or home?
No, well, when you came
Home?
back the first time from Desert Storm, did you feel any differently? Like, meaning that, what, and I hate to assume, but your mental health state, was it differently? Would you think differently because you got hurt, or was it were you like just like, yeah, it's business as usual?
No. When you suffer or get inflicted like that, so what happens is your whole outcome of life is different. You learn to respect life, and I don't care, not just human life, even animal life, even well, this is me, insects. You can't pay me to step on an ant or a snail outside in the yard. That's
Mm-hmm.
how it affected me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's basically you learn to appreciate life and not take things for granted.
Right. That's why you were almost like a Buddhist monk, really. Every time I saw you, like,
Yeah,
Just just always just kept to yourself and just did whatever you needed to do. So that was cool. So what are you doing these days now?
Well, now I work for a medical equipment company out here in the city of Orange. I run their warehouse, so
Okay,
it's
good.
pretty chilled and laid back. But then I have my moments too, just like every other veteran. Veterans Day, Memorial Day. Yeah, it's rough for me. And to
No,
tell you the
everybody.
truth, I kind of miss wearing the uniform. If I had to do it all over again, I would. Minus the firefights. But I just love the camaraderie.
Yeah,
It's
that's the one thing
it's
that I love, and I think that's why, for me, like, I got out not just recently, like 2020, and I was like, well, you know what, I kind of do miss that, so I ended up finding a place where to go. So I ended up joining the VFW. Remember when in what was it, 2010, I think. Um, it was Chief Russell who was a commander at that point. An FTAB, right? So for anyone's know, we were part of a F Battery 144 out of West LA in California, and we had our job was basically it was a radar unit. So it was basically like always like we called it the redheaded stepchild of the entire battalion because they didn't know what to do with us. Nobody ever knew like what radar did, right? So we would always be kind of on our own thing. We would always like march to the beat of our own drum and everything. So that unit was actually sponsored at that point in time, and I didn't even know anything about it. It was sponsored, and we had a local VFW out of Inglewood, California, and I think that last I heard that post actually burnt down, and they
really,
don't have a home. Yeah, they don't have a home, and I think they ended up winning like some type of like lawsuit because the city of Inglewood or city of LA did something crazy where they either burnt it down or they put it down because of the they weren't going to put a train line or a metro line through there, so they got whether a home or whatever and did some shady deals. So they ended up winning like $2.2 million or something like that, from last I heard. But anyway, my point was that post, our unit was actually that was its home. So anytime we wanted to go in there for the F Battery, that post would always be there for us. So it was actually kind of cool. That was the first time I ever heard of the VFW. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what it was. And I wasn't even at that point. I hadn't even gone to Iraq or Afghanistan yet because I didn't go till 2013, 2014. I think like the 12th, 13th rotation after that. So that was when I went. That's how I was eligible to become part of the VFW. So, but yeah, that's where we had it. But that we had our Christmas party that year at the VFW. That was pretty fun. And I think we went after we took a PT test. I was like, Chief, why would you even want to do that? I was like, Chief, why would you do that to us? Like, well, here we go. We're going to go into the VFW, and we're going to be drinking and having a good time. I'm like, why would you put us through the pain of our PT test? He's like, well, Sergeant Sign's like, we got to keep it humble sometimes. It's like, Chief, come on, man, it's Christmas. He's like, oh, no. Matter of fact, I just talked to Chief Russell not too long ago, and that man literally just retired, I think last year.
really.
You know that? Yeah.
No.
He was a CW4, Chief Warrant Officer 4, Russell. So yeah, it's funny. And hey, and you know who works with him where he was working at right now?
Who?
I'll give you one big guess.
You.
No. Well, he always wanted me to work with him, but no.
Oh,
Do you remember? Do you remember Specialist Command Sergeant Major?
did you say specialist command sergeant?
Specialist Command Sergeant Major
Who's specialist command sergeant?
Dewey.
Specialist? Oh, Dewey? Really?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
That guy was something else. That guy
remember
was
we called
something
him,
else.
what do you call? We called him Skeletor. We called him. And he, like, somebody somebody came up with a picture that he looked like a what was it, an ostrich.
Yeah,
Remember the ostrich? He's like, oh look, like they put it side by side. He's like, oh Dewey, ostrich.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's working with them too. So I was like, man, that's crazy.
I
There's
know, huh?
so many memories. It yeah. Uh, I don't know how
That's
he got hired on
commensurate to
there,
me.
but he was working. Chief is working for some range out in China Lake, I think, in California. So it's crazy, but it's funny. I was like, man, can't believe you. So that's
Dewey.
good.
Yes.
So hey, so are you still you're not gonna go back to the oil fields? I mean the platforms.
I don't know.
Okay, I found
If
this
I
in the
do,
web. Are you sure you're not gonna go back?
Sorry, my Siri
I
just
got
went
to.
off. I'm like, what?
Well, I don't know. I probably will. Maybe. But I just got the process all over again, like paperwork and testing and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't really have time for that. Not now, anyway. So,
yeah. Well, I think sometimes family comes first because you were gone for quite a while and you were gone. So,
yeah.
for anybody that knows, Stringfield was actually working at the oil platform. So you would fly out to Louisiana from California, fly out, and then come into work. He'd be out like a couple weeks, and then come back home for a couple days, and then go back. And
Yeah.
it took a toll on his family life. And personally, because it took never able to do anything he wanted to. So even though it's a cool job and everything, I think you're better off being at home with your kids. So that's what it was. So anyway, Stringfield, man, every time I talk to you, you always bring a smile to my face. So you got to
Good.
do it more often. You gotta, yeah. You gotta make sure you call me. Like if I don't call you, you don't call. So it's like I'll make sure that you're all right because, like I said, you don't like you said you're probably like one of 5 people that I actually keep up with from the
Yeah.
unit. So yeah.
That's
I'll name my.
that's a small number. You should
It's a
know
very
that.
small number. Yeah. Yep. Very small number. And I usually so I'll name about it's Chief Russell. It's you. I don't know. But do you remember um, Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Chris Gonzalez. Yep, he's the other one.
Yeah.
Dan Doherty.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just
Hey, he hasn't
he just
called
asked
you.
me for his number. He hasn't called you
Okay.
yet.
Okay. No.
Oh God,
No.
he asked me for your
That's
number
all
when I
right.
told him that I talked to you.
Yeah. Well, he ain't called yet, so you
Well, you
give
might want to call him. Well,
you
I'll
give him
send you
grief
his
for me.
number.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
That's good. Yeah.
I'll send you
Yeah.
I'll send you his number so you can talk to him and
Okay.
be like, hey, I'm still waiting for your call.
Yeah.
and and the other person actually I think it's 6. So the other person is you remember Camacho, Juan Camacho?
Oh yeah, I love that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
hey, hey, he's still. Yeah. 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 I know his kids are grown now, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
He just retired. He retired as an E8 mass sergeant, and
Oh,
he is working for the USDA. So he goes
really?
in and checks the beef.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one you probably I don't think you were there when he was already there, like, but he deployed with us when we went to Afghanistan. Chief Hubney. He's the
Yeah, I
only other one.
remember him. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
because he was a fister. That's right. That's why you remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
forget. You've been around since like the birth of Christ. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so that's all good. Anyway, man, like, but I'm just so glad that you were able to come on this thing and just kind of tell us your little story. I know that we went on a tangent about everything else, but I just wanted to let you know that I think from what I gather, it's like you were always ashamed of the fact that you actually received the Purple Heart, and no fault of your own. So don't. I just always wanted to tell you, like, dude, don't feel ashamed of that, dude. I mean, that's a huge honor. Like, obviously, you're still here to embrace the fact that you can still see your daughter do all this other stuff. So it's just a blessing that you're still here with us, and that is just a an honor and to be a recipient of it, because not everybody gets to see that, not everybody gets to get that, right? And you got hurt and during a war, wartime issue, and then the biggest part for me is the fact that you actually got it from the highest ranking person that you can ever below the president, they can actually give it to you. You know what I mean? And I mean, you're talking about the supreme commander of I think at that point it was the ground forces. So, dude, don't be ashamed of it. And I think you always felt like that you're like, oh, no, I don't deserve it. It's like, you deserved it for a reason, and you got it for a reason because you did something extraordinary. Unfortunately, that's the fact that you got hurt was the reason you got it. You should not be ashamed of that. You're still here. You're my friend, and I love you to pieces, man. And just I want to tell you that I'm super proud of you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. This is what you're supposed to say. Thank me for my service.
No, thank. No, thank you for yours.
Oh, thank you. I didn't do anything really. I just went over. I just did it for the college benefits. What everybody else said.
well, you still went. But you know what, though, Sarge? You know that there's 3 types of veterans, right?
Okay. Which ones are they?
The 3 types. There's the one who joined during peacetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they'll do their 4-bit or they'll retire, they'll start action. That's your one veteran. Then you got your second type of veteran who actually deployed overseas, and
right.
Everybody who deployed, everybody gets a combat patch, Army wise, and that's the second time. That's the second time. The ones who deployed, who never been out the wire, and that's what we call it back then, the wire. Then you got the ones like me who deployed, who actually saw combat. But I am not knocking the ones who deployed. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've always said, this too. I've always told everyone how they used to hate fathers. Okay.
You being one of them, because you used to hate Fob. It's like, that Fob.
Yeah, but I respected all you guys, and the reason why is because that was you guys' job. You guys set up the radar, the Q-37s and the Q-36 on the fobs or the tops to check the rounds that's coming in.
Yeah, not everybody.
You guys were high tech. You guys were the high tech fobs.
Artillery.
In my book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I was like, man, like we don't get to go out the wire or anything like that, and then like I just remember that scene of what was it, American Sniper. He's like, man, get out of here. When Chris Kyle is coming out of the airplane, and his brother's going into the airplane, and they're like, this bullshit, like planet bullshit, so whatever. It just reminds me of that because not everybody gets to. Everybody says like, oh, thank you for recruiting for the job. I was like, no, not really. You kind of picked the job,
you did
yourself. And then for a long time, it's like, oh man, you pick your rate. In the Navy, there used to be a saying, is like, pick your rate, which is your MOS. Pick your rate, choose your fate. So you have to be really, really smart as to what it is. Everybody gets to choose their job, their destiny, and how they do it. And I just fell into the unit itself, and it just ended up being that it was a radar unit and artillery, and I was able to get like really, really good life skills off of that. Because not only was I able to continue that job outside of the Army, and I was able to get some jobs with the contractors and contracting, and ended up going to overseas with doing that. So yeah, it's a very technical job. So it was cool. But how many MLSs did you hold?
13 Fox, 80 Mike, 2.
Yeah, because you were a truck driver and then a firefighter. Sorry, the Scott. So yeah,
Ford officer.
Did you do the same thing as Asman did? Were you in Mustang as well, or no?
Who?
Eisman. You remember Sergeant Eisman?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I remember when he went in, he did Mustang, right? Because it was the some unit that they were out all the time, like out forward observers, right? Because that's what a Fister is a forward observer. But he was, or was it Colt or was it Mustang? Colt or Mustang, one of the two. I don't remember. But you didn't do that. You didn't.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't do that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I went to the field, but they went out all the time. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, remember when we went to Yakima in 2009 and we did our
Yeah.
AT up there? Who was it? It was Sergeant Bobadilla who came in. He's like, the section we were in, the radar section we were in.
Yeah.
We nobody ever knew this, but we had an advon that went up, like advanced party that went up there, and we had we had Renault vehicles because there were 3 people in the advanced party that were in our section. So our there was garrison, like the where our barracks were at, and then
Yeah.
to where the radar site was.
Yeah.
It was about 10 miles. It was about 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
we would go back every day to go do laundry and go take a shower. and, so,
Yeah.
and so at the end of the 2 weeks, he's like, we're all showered up, and then here comes our Mamadea. He comes in, he's like, how come you guys look so clean? He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you guys look so damn clean. I was like, yeah, we we were coming in every day to take a shower. Didn't you guys? He's like, no. He's like, no, we were out in the field for 2 weeks. We're fisters. I was like, that's your fault, man. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, I never did that.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that
Yeah, I
was the
remember that.
funniest part. I think that made that whole AT, man. That part where he's like, what are you talking about? For 2 weeks we didn't take a shower. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the first time that the state of Washington had used radars for like over 10
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
our unit was able to actually get some hands on radars because it had been a while since we actually had tracked anything. So that was actually kind of cool, that the fact that we were able to do that. So that was probably the best AT that we had, because after that it was like,
Yeah.
where did we go? We used to go to what was the 11th ACR at?
Up there in Barstow.
Fort Irwin. We used to go to Fort Irwin all the time.
Yeah.
Every year, like, oh my god, Fort Irwin. And I think that
Yeah.
that one time we went to Yakima was probably the funnest part.
It was.
That was good. Oh my god. All right, Stringfield, I ran out of time, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Very much. It's Saturday morning. It's about 11 o'clock here in Texas, and it's 9 o'clock over in California. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Sarge.
So again, I'm gonna publicly call you out right now that you need to check in with me all the time, because I always care about you. So I want to make sure that you're doing all right.
I will.
All right, man. Hey, after I sign off, just stand by real quick, and
Okay.
I will say a proper goodbye. So, all right, for everybody else, thank you so much for joining me. Again, this is my special guest, Albert Stringfield, Purple Heart recipient from Operation Desert Storm, and thank you so much, Stringfield. I will talk to you very, very soon, and everybody else, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Battlefield Podcast. And very, very soon, I will have a huge announcement about this podcast. So stand by for that. So don't forget to like and follow. All right, thank you.